Hello everyone, it's Jen. Welcome back to Bookish Blonde. So happy new year, happy 2025. I can't believe it feels so weird to say 2025, but it's New Year's Day. I hope everyone's having a happy new year. I am so excited for my reading of 2025. There are so many new releases this year that I'm looking forward to. And so I thought today's video would be the perfect fit to talk about all the new releases coming out in January that I'm excited about to kick off the new year. So now I know there's a lot of books that I'm not going to mention here, but these are just the ones that for one reason or another are standing out to me, ones I'm personally excited and looking forward to. And so I just want to share those with you guys and hopefully put something new on your radar. So let's just get started. I have 3 coming out released on January 7th. The first one being 4 Ruined Realms by Corland. This is book number 2 in the Broken Blades series. The first one was 5 Broken Blades, and I liked that a lot last year. I think I gave it 4 stars. This book cover is gorgeous. I'm very excited to get my hands on this special edition. I have a special edition of 5 Broken Blades as well. So I won't get into too much detail with this one, but it is fantasy, and I really enjoyed the first one. So if you are into that series, just know book 2 is coming out on January 7th. Okay, the next one on January 7th is a romance by Sarah Adams. This is number 3 in her Rome series, which I have not read any of, but this is Beg, Borrow, or Steal. This one sounds really cute. We have 2 second grade teachers that are both, I think they're writers, and one of the teachers accidentally sends her book, or his book, I'm not sure which one, to the principal. And so it's a rom-com. They're trying to get their hands back on this book. And I've heard she's a little bit more on the clean romance side of things. So I'm excited to check her out as an author. And this cover is adorable. Okay, the next one and last one on January 7th release date that I'm excited about is A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. I have given both Adrienne Young's books, she has 2 adult titles. I've given those both 5 stars. She also writes young adult, I believe, but I have not checked out any of those. But I am highly anticipating this one. I really, really love her writing. It is top tier to me. And in this book, we are following a woman. She is investigating her brother's mysterious death. She's also dealing with her past. We're going to have another atmospheric novel. I wouldn't expect anything less from Adrienne Young. And I don't want to go into too much more detail, but we have a rural town of Hawthorne, California that she goes back to try to settle her brother's affairs. She definitely doesn't believe the story of what happened to him. And she has probably some kind of supernatural or magical connection to her brother, I believe. But I'm not sure. So that's all I want to know. I am going into this one with really high expectations, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I'm actually considering pre-ordering this one, so we shall see. Okay, next release date is January 14th. There's quite a few coming out on this date. The first one I talked about is a new Lisa Genova, More or Less Maddy. I still have not read Lisa Genova, but she writes really hard-hitting books that deal with, I think, different types of mental disorders or mental illnesses. So this one, we're looking into a woman by the name of Maddy Banks. She has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And she decides to kind of reject some of the normal, life trajectory of someone that maybe has bipolar, and she decides to become a stand-up comedian. I don't know too much more than that, so I hope I'm explaining this one. But she is learning how to navigate this new bipolar disorder diagnosis, her identity, what her relationships are going to look like, her life dreams, all of that. What does that look like with this new diagnosis, and how to manage everything? And it's destined to be another classic, like Still Alice, it says. So we'll see. But yeah, contemporary, more literary fiction about mental health. And I am interested on getting my hands on this one. Okay, the next one on the 14th is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. Now, this was one of my most anticipated of the year. I love Alice Feeney's writing. I love her thrillers. Most of them have been 5 stars. All of them have been super enjoyable, and I just cannot put them down once I start her books. They read really quickly for me because they have you on the edge of your seat. We have a mystery thriller here. This one sounds really interesting. We have an author who is kind of been struggling with his writing his next book. He gets some good news. He calls his wife. His wife on the other end has either been into an accident or something like that. And it's been over a year. His wife is still missing. He or nobody else knows what happens to him. He is going through, the deep steps of grief. He's not sure what to do. He can't finish this novel. So he moves to a tiny Scottish island to try to get his life back on track. And then he sees a woman that looks just like his missing wife. So we're going to have a lot of dark secrets and twists in this one as well. And it sounds amazing. Cannot wait to read this one. All right. Next on January 14th is... We have 3 more on January 14th. So, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I have been already hearing some mixed reviews on this one. Grady Hendrix is an author that I either give his books 5 stars or like 2 to 3 stars. So, not every book of his has worked for me, but I love books with witchcraft and witches and sister female groups. So I'm looking forward to this one. I heard it's a little bit slow going in the beginning, but this one is about girls that it takes place in 1970s, and these girls are being sent to a special home for girls because they are pregnant and they are underage, and they're kind of hiding this as a family secret. And they have their babies there. The babies then are given away for adoption, I believe. And somehow witchcraft gets brought into this. I'm sure the girls, I'm guessing, are not treated very, very great in this home for girls. And so I think maybe the witchcraft is a defense mechanism, possibly. So we shall see, but I'm looking forward to it. The cover is amazing as well. All right, 2 more on January 14th. I have this next one on NetGalley, so I'm most likely going to be reading it in January. And that is What Happened to the McCraes by Tracy Lang. I love Tracy Lang's family drama. We have a husband and wife that are divorced. We pick up X amount years later after the divorce, and the ex-husband has to go back home to where his wife, and I think his wife's a teacher. He was a hockey coach, that kind of thing. And he goes back home to take care of his dad, who's had this stroke unexpectedly. And his ex-wife has made it very clear that once you're done dealing with that, you need to leave. I don't want you in this town. And then we have a lot of small knit community feels. We have a lot of healing. We have a dive into marriage and divorce, and I'm sure this one will make me feel all the feels like she normally does, and I can't wait to start that one. Last on January 14th is Clever Little Thing by Helena Echlin. Never heard of this author. This one, I forget where I saw it first, but it definitely piqued my interest. We have a psychological thriller. And we're following a mother who must confront a sudden and terrifying change in her daughter after the abrupt death of her baby sister. Her babysitter. So Charlotte's daughter Stella is sensitive and brilliant, perhaps even maybe a genius. But the mom is alarmed at this recent change in her behavior. So Stella's babysitter Blanca dies, and now this once disruptive and antisocial child has become docile and agreeable. But what's unsettling is that she has begun to mirror Blanca's personality. From Blanca's repetitive phrases to her accent to fierce cravings for Armenian meat stew after being raised a vegetarian. So Charlotte is now pregnant with her second child and depleted and sick with this pregnancy. And she is kind of convinced that Blanca herself is somehow responsible for Stella's transformation. I don't want to read anymore. I think we have a little bit of a horror twist in this as well. And I'm excited to check this book out by this author. It sounds really up my alley. Okay, this next one comes out either the 14th or 15th. I'm seeing both dates on two different places. I know maybe this is an independent author, publisher. I'm not sure, but this one is called The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia, another author I've never heard about. But this one sounds like it's going to be a page turner thriller, psychological thriller. Actually, this is a debut by this author, so that's fun. I love debuts by authors, to check out new authors to see who I'm going to be obsessed with. Okay, so in this one we have Stephanie and Jasmine. They have nothing and everything in common. The two women don't know each other but are on the same plane. Stephanie is on a business trip and Jasmine is fleeing an abusive relationship. After a few days, they text their friend the same exact messages about the same man. And the messages become strange and erratic, and then these two women disappear. Red flags go up, panic sets in. They are both declared as missing and in danger, but we don't know who this mystery man was or is, or what happened to these women. So we have lots of different, it says multiple layers and twists. And it says it takes you into the depths of a mastermind manipulator, but who is playing who? So I'm really excited about this one. Okay. Let's see here. All right. The only book that I care about on January 21st is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This is number 3 in the Empyrean series. I actually am going to plan my January reading around this book, because once I have this book in my hands, I have it pre-ordered, have had it pre-ordered for 6 months plus. But as soon as this book is in my hands, I will be reading it, and I will be reading nothing else until I am finished with this book. It's my number 1 anticipated release of the whole entire year. I cannot get enough of these characters in this world, and book 2 ended on another cliffhanger, and I just have to know. So January 21st, that's the only one I'm going to talk about. No, that's what I'll be doing that day. And I know I won't be able to put it down. So there's that. Okay, January 28th, we have a couple. So The Crash by Freida McFadden. Freida McFadden is an author that I have given low star ratings to and 5-star ratings to. She's definitely a palate cleanser, popcorn thriller type of writer, and I do eat up her books. I do enjoy them. They're great to dive into. Have they all been wins for me? No, but I'm always thoroughly entertained when I read them. So I'm looking forward to this one, and this is called The Crash. We have Tegan, who is 8 months pregnant, alone, and desperately wants to put her crumbling life into her rear view mirror. So she hits the road, planning to stay with her brother until she can figure out her next move. But she doesn't realize she's heading straight into a blizzard. She never arrives at her destination. Ooh, this is kind of giving me like No Exit vibes by Taylor Adams. So I don't want to read too much more, but basically it's a tale of survival. She has to save herself and her unborn child. We have a gut-wrenching story of motherhood, survival, and twisted expectations, and that's all I want to know. It says a snowbound thriller that will chill you to the bone. This would be really nice to read this winter, so we will see if I can get that one from my library. Okay, next, on the 28th, is We Are Watching by Allison Galen. Allison Galen is an author that has been put on my radar before, but still yet have not read anything by Allison Galen. But this one is We Are Watching, and this one we are looking at a psychological suspense where a single mother is desperate to protect her family as they become targets of a group of violent conspiracy theorists. So that alone sounds like something I want to pick up. Sounds like something I have not really read before. So the whole violent conspiracy theorist, that's going to be a new like trope or theme for me. Obviously, protecting your family's not. But yeah, it looks like Meg and her husband are driving their daughter Lily to college. The family is celebrating the 18-year-old music prodigy's future. But then a car comes up to them. They get into an accident, and Justin, the husband, does not survive the accident. We pick up 4 months later, and Meg is trying to distract herself, get through the grief of the death of her husband. She reopens a small local bookstore, a woman after my own heart. I would love to open a bookstore. But then she starts to get bizarre messages, kind of threatening in nature. We got some store vandalization. And these people are obsessed with a young adult novel titled The Prophecy, which was published 20 years earlier. So we have that online group of conspiracy theorists that are threatening Meg and her family, and maybe her husband's death was not an accident. So we shall see. That's We Are Watching by Allison Galen. All right. Next one on the 28th is Carving Shadows into Gold by Brigid Kemmerer. This is Forging Silver into Stars, book number 2. I own the first one. I have not read it, but we're going to get fantasy in this one. Maybe a little bit of romance. It is a young adult romance fantasy. So we are following, I don't want to go into too much detail because it's book number 2. So let me look this over so I don't ruin anything for you. Yeah, I better not go into detail about this because I don't want to spoil myself either. But just know if you're in the middle of the series, or if you read the first book, book number 2 is coming out on the 28th for you. Okay, so those are all the January releases that I am looking forward to. I'm super excited for some of these. I know I'm forgetting some. If there's any that I'm forgetting that you think I would like, please talk about that down below in the chat. And that's all I have for you today. So again, Happy New Year. Thanks again for watching my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.